Today, we're diving deep, like microscopically deep, to meet the tiny but seriously powerful organelles that act as the cleanup crew for every single one of the cells in your body. Let's get into it. I mean, it's a good question, right? Every one of our cells is like a tiny, bustling city. It's constantly producing waste, dealing with old, worn-out parts, and even fighting off invaders. So where does all that junk actually go? Well, the answer comes down to this incredible organelle right here. You can think of it as the cell's demolition team, its recycling center, and its security force all rolled into one. This is the lysosome, and it's basically the hero of our story today. So, what exactly is this cleanup crew all about? Let's take a closer look inside the cell's own demolition and recycling center to see how the whole thing works. Okay, so here's the official breakdown. A lysosome is basically a small, acidic bubble filled with around 50 different kinds of super powerful digestive enzymes. But you know what its most important feature is? That membrane. It acts like a safety barrier, keeping all those corrosive enzymes safely locked inside so they don't just, destroy the very cell they're supposed to protect. But where does a team like this even come from? A lysosome doesn't just pop into existence out of nowhere. The cell has this really sophisticated assembly line just for building them. It's this beautiful, super efficient 4-step process. So step 1, the tools, those powerful enzymes, get built in a place called the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Step 2, then they're sent over to the Golgi apparatus. Think of it like the cell's post office, where they get a special shipping label slapped on. Step 3, they get all packaged up into little delivery vehicles called vesicles. And finally, step 4, these packages arrive and merge with a kind of sorting station called an endosome. That's what activates the enzymes and creates a fully operational lysosome ready to work. And that shipping label we keep talking about? Well, it's actually a specific sugar molecule called mannose 6-phosphate. This molecular tag is everything. It's like a zip code that tells the cell, hey, these dangerous enzymes go straight to the lysosome and absolutely nowhere else. If you mess up that tag, the whole system just falls apart. All right, so the crew is assembled. They've got their tools and they're ready for action. Now, let's see what happens when this demolition and recycling team actually gets to work. It turns out lysosomes are masters of multitasking. They have 2 really critical missions. First, they're our defense system. When an immune cell, like a macrophage, swallows a bacterium, the lysosome fuses with it and just obliterates the invader. And second, they do all the internal housekeeping. They break down the cell's own old parts, like worn-out mitochondria, and recycle all the raw materials so they can be used again. And this whole process of a cell eating big things, whether it's an invading bacterium or just a piece of cellular trash, it has a name, phagocytosis. It literally means cell eating, and it's a fundamental process that absolutely depends on the lysosome to come in and finish the job. We've seen how elegant and essential this whole system is. But that brings up a really important question. What happens when the cleanup crew just doesn't show up for work? Or what if they don't have the right tools? Well, the consequences can be devastating. Just think back to our analogies for a second. What happens if that mannose 6-phosphate shipping label never gets attached correctly? Or what if one of the specific demolition tools, one of those 50 different enzymes, is defective, or maybe it's missing entirely? Well, when that shipping label system fails, it can cause a really severe condition called eye cell disease. See, the enzyme that's supposed to attach the tag is faulty, so all those powerful digestive enzymes get shipped outside the cell by mistake. This leaves the lysosomes totally empty and useless, which means all that cellular waste just builds up and up. And this brings us to a whole category of over 50 different genetic conditions known as lysosomal storage diseases. The basic problem is always the same. Some specific enzyme is missing, which means a specific type of waste can't be broken down. So it just accumulates and clogs up the cell. And what's really fascinating is that modern research is now starting to link much more common conditions, like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, to problems in this exact same cleanup system. A classic example of this is Gaucher's disease. It's the most common of these disorders. In this case, the missing tool is one specific enzyme. Without it, a fatty substance just builds and builds inside the cells, especially inside those immune cells we talked about earlier, the macrophages. And the effects are severe. This fatty buildup causes organs like the spleen and liver to swell up dramatically. It can lead to anemia,
And, as you can see here, it can even cut off the blood supply to bones, causing the actual bone tissue to die. All of this just because one tiny tool is missing from the lysosome's toolkit.
This really just drives home the point of why the lysosome, an organelle we might not think about very often, is a true unsung hero of the cell. Its job is absolutely essential for our health and really for our survival. From defending us against pathogens to recycling our own cellular parts, the lysosome is that quiet, tireless manager working behind the scenes. It is the ultimate cleanup crew, making sure the incredible little city inside each of our cells keeps running smoothly. So, I'll leave you with this thought to chew on. If the lysosome is the cell's cleanup crew, who's running the power plants, the factories, the communication networks? It's just a reminder that the world inside every single one of our cells is an entire universe, just waiting to be explored.